Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Osman. In today's episode, we'll join the annual 100 Deputies, 100 Kids holiday party. We'll visit the recently opened teaching garden at the Volusia County Extension Office, and then we'll learn about a new training program to get Volusia youth ready for the Lap the Track 5K. In Volusia Here and Now, Kendra Lee shares the good work of Second Harvest. Later, Lisa Hamilton gives us tips to protect ourselves against identity theft in our segment, Solutions for Your Life. And finally, joining Community Information Director Dave Byron in the studio is Tom Caradonio, Executive Director of the Daytona Beach Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. Those segments, news, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. I hope you stay tuned. This year's 100 Deputies, 100 Kids program brought smiles and holiday cheer to 240 children from across the county. Now in its 27th year, the centerpiece of the 100 Deputies, 100 Kids charity program is a holiday celebration for disadvantaged children. This year's festivities took place December 13th at the Volusia County Fairgrounds, where deputies served 150 pizzas and handed out nearly $11,000 in toys and other presents. Of course, the highlight of the evening was the arrival of Santa Claus. The backbone of the program is a large group of deputies and other staff members who volunteer their off-duty time to raise donations throughout the year and plan the festivities. Deputies, school crossing guards, and guidance counselors nominate needy families to attend the party. The deputies serve as official hosts, picking up families in their patrol cars and driving them to the Volusia County Fairgrounds. The program was launched in 1989 and has been carried on enthusiastically since Sheriff Ben Johnson took office in 2001.
This is my favorite night of the year, I have to say. You have kids here tonight that if it wasn't for this party would not have a Christmas. And this gives them a chance to have the same kind of a Christmas that your children or my children would have. And it couldn't be done without our Volusia Charity Committee. You know, the Sheriff's Department Charity Committee that gets out and works all year long to get donations, to get money. The Margarita Ball Society brings us in gifts. If you look on the tables, you'll even see wooden toys that were built by prisoners at Tomoka State Prison. But to me, it is such a rewarding night where you see these kids sometimes would not have a chance if it wasn't for people stepping forward. And you know, the law enforcement officers, we couldn't do it without these guys these men and women giving their time. They pick up the families at home, they bring them here. And some of these follow the kids through year after year. And it's just such a great, great night and just so enjoyable.
With the party over and the decorations taken down, the children and families return home and the deputies return to their enforcement duties. But the kinship doesn't end there. Many of the deputies continue to befriend their families long after the party ends, dropping in on them from time to time throughout the year to maintain the bonds and check on their welfare. This year, deputies delivered holiday gifts to an additional 42 children from 15 families. The gifts also were purchased with funds raised by the nonprofit 100 Deputies, 100 Kids program. Volusia County's Master Gardeners recently celebrated the fruits of their labor during the grand opening of the Florida-Friendly Landscaping Demonstration and Teaching Gardens at the Volusia County Agriculture Center. The 2-acre site features butterfly gardens, an outdoor children's classroom, landscape layouts, and a shaded pavilion. The vegetable garden area shows how easy it is to grow vegetables using hydroponics or the square-foot gardening method. One of the most popular features is the koi pond and waterfall, developed with donations from the Tropical Water Gardens.
You
Dr. Gail Hansen, an associate professor of environmental horticulture, designed Volusia County's teaching gardens with help from her horticulture students.
We originally thought it was going to be a pretty simple little design, but we met with all the master gardeners here, and they're a very enthusiastic bunch, and we decided to have a design charrette with them. And out of this charrette, this grand plan was developed, and we ended up having several gardens that we planned here. And my graduate students and I got to work, and we did the plan for them. And then they actually took that plan. They got some grants, and this is what you see here today. And they've done a wonderful job of putting this garden in. It's been amazing. It's only been a year and a half since we did the design, so they've done an exceptional job. And I think it's a really good example for all the other extension offices to learn what you can do when you really put your mind to it.
Volusia County has more than 120 active master gardeners. These volunteers answer gardening questions at the Agricultural Center. They present horticultural classes to community groups and staff information booths at fairs and garden shows. They spent the last 18 months digging, sowing, and planting the teaching gardens, which have transformed the Ag Center's lawn into a lush and verdant landscape.
People could come and look at and get ideas for what they could do in their own landscapes. Certainly elements of this landscape are applicable to any home landscape, whether it's permeable pavement or something as simple as putting the right plant in the right place. So it was really a multifaceted project, and it's really due to the hard work of the master gardeners. And my role in all this is not unlike that of a conductor of an orchestra. You know, the conductor is just up there waving the baton, but it's really the musicians in the orchestra that make the music, and that's kind of what happened here.
The $110,000 project was built with a $55,000 Volusia Echo grant and donation from the county's Master Gardener program and area businesses, including Lindley's Nursery, Evolving Landscapes, and Tropical Water Gardens. Residents and businesses can pick up landscape and garden tips at the teaching gardens. They can take self-guided tours Monday through Friday or call ahead for a guided tour. For more information about the teaching gardens, you can call the University of Florida Volusia County Extension at 386-822-5778. Children ages 8 to 13 have the opportunity to participate in a free training program leading up to the completion of a 3.1-mile Lap the Track, one of the 3 running events of the Daytona Beach Half Marathon, which is February 7th at Daytona International Speedway.
And what we want to do is bring some children out. So we're doing training programs. We're doing 2 Boys and Girls Clubs training programs, and we're also doing 2 at the Ys. The ones at the Boys and Girls Club training is just for those children already enrolled in that program, but the Port Orange Y and the DeLand Y are offering training starting December 14th, where you can bring your child, and they actually will be participating in a Couch to 5K, and any child that finishes the training program will be able to register for the run free of charge. I'll be running with the YMCA kids, and Joe, the executive director for Boys and Girls Club, will be running with his kids. So we hope to have a great showing and are very excited to be part of this with our county.
Each child in the training program will receive a free entry to the Lap the Track, a t-shirt, and a finisher medal. Transportation to Daytona International Speedway also will be provided for each child and a parent or a guardian. The youth training program is part of the nationally recognized childhood obesity prevention program called 5210, which partners with schools, child care, and out-of-school programs, healthcare practices, and community organizations to change environments for children and families.
It's 5210 Let's Go Volusia, and it's a grassroots movement across our county to get people to understand that the smallest changes can make a difference in your health. So we want you to have 5 fruits and vegetables every day, 2 hours or less of recreational screen time, because we realize kids are all using technology in school these days and for homework. We want you to have 1 hour of physical activity inside, outside, at the Y, at school, Boys and Girls Club, wherever you are. We're in a beautiful place where we can be outside most of the time. So 1 hour of physical activity every day, and 0 is the goal for sugary drinks. Water is the drink of choice. So it's very easy to remember, 5210. Everybody in the family can get involved and we all become healthier.
The 3.1-mile Lap the Track is part of the Daytona Beach Half Marathon, which is hosted by Volusia County Government and Daytona International Speedway, and it's sponsored by Florida Hospital and Brown & Brown Insurance. The event also features a half marathon relay. Registration is $85 for the half marathon, $70 for the half marathon relay, and $25 for the Lap the Track. For more information or to sign up for the youth training program, you can call Micah Lill at MLILL@VFYMCA.org, or you can call 386-738-9622, extension 301. You know, the holidays can be challenging for those who are food insecure. Thankfully, Second Harvest Food Bank is one of the many resources available to Volusia and Flagler communities. Here's Kendra Lee in this week's Volusia Here and Now with some ways you can get involved to help this season.
Second Harvest is one of many nonprofit organizations in Volusia Flagler that collects, stores, and distributes donated food to local food pantries within the county. Their services are made possible by the numerous donors, volunteers, and commitment of the communities they work in. Bob Thomas of Second Harvest Volusia Flagler shares some ways to get involved during the giving season.
Well, what we do is we distribute food to our food pantries and feeding programs. We have over 100 of them that we distribute to. 85 of them might be a real live food pantry where someone can go get a free bag or a box of food. And then we also distribute food to some feeding programs, some hot meal programs as well. Our volunteers, what we utilize them to do is box food. When we get our food drives in, we get a whole bunch of assorted good canned goods and non-perishables, and we have to sort those, make sure that they're dated right. And then we rebox those and distribute those as well. And then we also will utilize our volunteers to help us pull our orders and get them ready for our agencies before they get here.
As a volunteer here at Second Harvest, you're able to use a Scantron to scan the barcodes and pull an order for a local food pantry. Though Second Harvest and organizations like them pull orders almost every day, Thomas explained that volunteering doesn't have to be a full-time commitment. Many volunteers can be utilized for 1 hour or just 30 minutes on-site or at off-site events. Groups of volunteers can also make a great impact.
We can do a group of up to 15 volunteers for half a day. The great thing about a group of volunteers is we'll bust them up into 3 groups and we kind of get a little competition going to see who can, distribute the most food, and we just have a good time when we're here pulling our orders, getting them all ready, helping agencies load out. Well, the great thing about volunteering here is it's good exercise. We have a lot of fun whenever we're here, and you're helping your community all at once. And when these agencies come to pick up the food, you get to interact with them one-on-one, and you find out that they have a passion and a heart for feeding people, just like you would do, because that's why you're here volunteering.
If you're not as much of a hands-on volunteer, consider starting a community-based food drive. Not sure how to start a food drive with an organization like Second Harvest? It's easy.
It's very easy if they just make a call to us or give us an email. We have some printouts. It's called Gathering the Groceries, How to Make Your Food Drive a Success. And it's a breakdown on some of the much needed items and what they can do to help make their food drive a success.
Items most commonly requested are peanut butter, cereals, canned meats, beans, and rices. Second Harvest also recently has taken a different approach to food donations to benefit the health and wellness of their beneficiaries.
Well, something that we're making a push on is we're trying to focus a little more on nutrition, and we found the best way, because even with your canned food, your low sodium and your low sugar items, they cost more than your regular items. So we said, let's try and hit this head on. Let's focus on fresh produce. So we've been getting truckloads, tractor trailer loads of produce that coming in, and it's for our pantries. That food's all free to our pantries, all that produce. So instead of those 4 cans of potatoes, maybe they'll put in 5 pounds of fresh potatoes, or instead of those 3 cans of corn, they'll put in 8 ears of corn. So we're making a huge push for fresh produce because it's an expensive item that a lot of people can't afford.
Every dollar, can, jar of peanut butter, and box of cereal counts. An individual donation is a great way to get involved in the giving season and make an impact in your community. Second Harvest promises every donation to their organization, monetary or food, stays in Volusia-Flagler counties. For more information on becoming a volunteer, starting a food drive, or donating, visit feedhopenow.org. For Volusia Here and Now, I'm Kendra Lee.
Identity theft is the fastest growing crime in the United States, and it affects more than 10 million individuals every year. Lisa Hamilton explains some ways we can protect ourselves in today's Solutions for Your Life.
Hello, I'm Lisa Hamilton, Extension Agent with the University of Florida IFAS Extension in Volusia County. Today I'd like to talk to you about how to protect yourself from identity theft. Identity theft is the fastest growing crime in the United States. The Federal Trade Commission indicates that about 10 million people per year are victims of identity theft. There are many ways that thieves can obtain your identification, but the good news is that there are things you can do to protect yourself, and there are actions you should take if you suspect you are the victim of an identity theft. In most cases, identity theft can be resolved, and if caught early, and banks and creditors often hold the victim responsible for only $50 of fraudulent charges. The most basic practice is to protect your personally identifying information, or PII. Don't carry more identification than you need. Don't carry your Social Security card or passport in your wallet. Carry only one credit card and leave your checkbook at home if you can. Credit cards offer the consumer more fraud protection than debit cards, so consider using credit rather than debit for purchases. Another important basic practice is to check your credit report at least once a year. Consumers are entitled to obtain a free credit report and can do so at annualcreditreport.com or from any of the 3 national credit bureaus. Review your credit report for charges that should not be there. Also, look at your monthly bank and credit card statements. The sooner you can report a fraudulent charge, the easier it is to resolve the problem. To reduce your risk of identity theft, make sure you shred or burn any documents with identifying information that you discard into the garbage. That includes credit cards and loan offers that you receive in the mail, bills, and any statements. Protect your outgoing mail as well. If your mailbox is not locked, consider dropping outgoing mail in a secure postal office box convenient to you. Finally, protect your information in public and online. Someone could be shoulder surfing or listening in while you provide a credit card number to make reservations or pay a bill. Only provide your Social Security number or other personally identifying information over the telephone if you have initiated the call. The same rule applies online. Only provide the information to organizations you have contacted. Never reply to phishing emails that ask you to provide information. When in doubt, call the company. If you suspect you're a victim of identity theft, there are steps you should take immediately. First, contact the company to report the fraud and close or freeze the account. Change passwords or PIN numbers. Second, contact one of the 3 credit bureaus to place a fraud alert on your name and order a copy of your credit report to review all activity. Third, report the identity theft to the Federal Trade Commission by filing a complaint form. Last, file a report with your local police department. These steps will document the theft and help you resolve the matter. Learn more about how to protect yourself from identity theft by visiting our website, where you will find links to the Federal Trade Commission, the National Credit Bureaus, and annualcreditreport.com. On our website, you'll also find a link to an identity theft risk assessment quiz developed by Rutgers University Extension. Take this quiz to see how well you're doing and improve your practices to protect yourself from identity theft. So I hope these tips are helpful for you. With Solutions for Your Life, I'm Lisa Hamilton.
And now it's time to go into the studio to join Community Information Director Dave Byron, where his guest is the Executive Director of the Daytona Beach Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, Tom Caradonio.
Well, thank you, Amber, and happy holidays, everyone. You know, as we near the close of 2015, this has been a very good year for tourism in Volusia County and across the state for that matter. Barring something unforeseen, Volusia's tourism economy looks for another very strong year in 2016. With us in the studio today is Tom Caradonio. He's the Executive Director of the Daytona Beach Convention and Visitors Bureau. We'll get Tom's perspective on what lies ahead for Volusia's biggest economic driver. Tom, how you doing?
Fine, David. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Happy holidays to you.
You too.
Hey, this has been a good year, huh?
You know, we're up 11% over a year that was previously a record year. So 11% better than a record year has got to be a good year.
I was going to say, any way you figure it, even with the new math, that's good.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, obviously, state of Florida, you know, tourism, #1 industry as it is here in Volusia County. State of Florida, from a tourism point of view, has come back really, really strong, hasn't it?
It is. It's 110 million headed towards 120 million. We did 9.1 million in the the 13-14 fiscal year. We're waiting to see what we did in the 14-15. We're hoping to be up. We should be up if we're up as much as we are in revenue. So who knows? We could be creeping up on that 10 million mark.
Tom, as you think of 110 million across the state of Florida, better than 50% of that is right down the road in the Orlando theme park area. You know, I would think from the Volusia County point of view, being that close to the theme park capital of the world has got to be a positive.
It's a very positive thing. 40% of our business comes from inside Florida.
Right.
So that's Floridians traveling. The big thing about that is if we can go, 62 million is the number that Orlando was using. If we could just get 1% of that,
really,
that's 620,000 people. And in our numbers, it translates into about 130,000 hotel rooms.
Well, you mentioned numbers. You know, obviously, when tourists come into the area, they pay, you know, a tourist tax to stay in the accommodations and so forth, and that's how your agency and the others are funded. How are we doing on those tourism tax collections, Tom?
We're up year over year. We were up 11%. Starting this fiscal year, our October collections were up 11.5 from last year, which was another record year. The big thing, too, that a lot of people don't realize, if we didn't have all of the tourist activity, everybody, every man, woman, and child living in Volusia would probably have to pony up about another $840 each in taxes a year. Right. So a household of four, you're looking at $4,000.
Well, you know, we have something in our county, Tom, every year that you know, most communities would really covet, and that is the annual reinvestment that takes place in the events at Daytona International Speedway, the Daytona 500 and so forth. You know, an amazing transformation at that facility taking place, going to you know, be unveiled to the public next month. Really, there's probably no way to overplay the importance of the Speedway to this area.
It's, you know, like you were saying, for our community, if you look at the race weeks, those all equate to one Super Bowl each.
Right.
And then the bike weeks equate to another Super Bowl. So we have like 5 Super Bowls a year. Now, Super Bowl will cost you a lot of money in your community, where ours is already inherently built in, and it attracts and brings the people in. But the other thing that's really great is that when you drive by an ISB now, that facility makes such a huge statement that we are a professional sports and event facility now, that you know, the new Country 500 that's coming next Memorial Day, that's another plus. That's another great thing that's going to happen. So that's, as long as, David, we get those kind of things continuing to grow here, the guests see that and they go, hey, there's something happening there, let's go.
Tom, as you look into 2016, the economy nationally and globally really is pretty strong. You know, what do you think? What's your rose-colored glasses tell you for 2016?
I think Bob Davis said it the other day, and I have to agree with him. I think 6%, maybe a little higher, but 6% increase in average daily rate, and also occupancy is within the realm. I think JetBlue, that you and I both have been working on with the airport and a lot of people, I think JetBlue is going to be a tremendous asset to us. You know, if you look at it, it's 174 seats a day. If that plane brought 174 new people here every day, that'd be like 63,000 people in a year coming here. And then that would translate to like 29,000 hotel rooms. Well, we know that's like the super best case scenario. So say we get 1/5 of that. So 5,000 new rooms brought to us by an airline feeding out of the Northeast. That sends a message to not only that airline, but other airlines. Daytona's a happening place. Let's get people down to Daytona Beach, and let's put another flight in. So I think JetBlue is a real key for us.
Let's not forget the shopping experience, because Tanger Company is going to build that outlet mall right here in Daytona Beach, Volusia County. You know the Tanger people.
Well, I've worked with them when I was in Texas, and they get tourism. And the other thing I just got before we started today, on the 20th of January, they're going to put up the wall. So I think that's like their groundbreaking ceremony, where they put up one wall and then they build around it. But Tanger gets it. I met with their people a year ago, November, at World Travel Mart, and they showed me the plans of where it was going to go, but I couldn't say anything for a while. But I did tell my wife when I got back, so she's been like, we live in LPJ. She goes by that spot every day, and then yesterday she goes, "Oh, look, they're doing more work. They're doing more work." So she's excited it's coming too.
It's fun to talk about things when they're going well, aren't it?
Oh, it always is. It always is. And you know what they say? Success has many parents, and failure is an orphan.
Absolutely. Tom, thanks for sharing the information with us. Great job this year. Looks like next year is going to be another great year.
We're looking forward to it, David. Thank you.
Our guest today, Tom Caradonio, Executive Director of the Daytona Beach Convention and Visitors Bureau. Back to you, Amber, and again, happy holidays, everyone.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you, too, for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, you can feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. Incidentally, you can find the County Council's meeting calendar there, too. In fact, you can use volusia.org to find out about meeting dates, workshops, topics of interest, activities, and how you can become involved. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Osman. Have a wonderful evening.